It's time for The Box, powered by Mingy Beef Jerky. The Box is also brought to you by the fine folks at Grayson Sanitation. Grab a cold beverage, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show as we spend the next hour or so looking at the wonderful world of sports. And now, here's your host for The Box, Tim Carver.
Thank you very much, Jenna, and welcome back, folks, to The Box with Tim, powered by Mingy Beef Jerky. I tell you what, I've really missed doing this, and got just an absolute ton of cards and letters and text and phone calls and DMs, you name it. Any way you folks have been able to contact me, you have, and I have been so grateful for that. Proud to announce that we are cancer-free, and we're just ready to rock again. I had to take some time off, tried to come back a little too early. Got a little bit weak, and some other things have been going on health-wise, but things are getting a lot better. I'm feeling a lot stronger and so happy to be back with you folks here on The Box. I want to thank Curtis Mackley and the fine folks at Mingy Beef Jerky for sticking with us. Jumped right back on board, said go for it. We love it. Let's keep on rocking, so that's what we're doing. Hey, today's a special show for me, a guy that I met, 30 years ago, I would guess, somewhere maybe over 30 years ago. Coach Garry McPeek is going to be joining us, and I wanted to talk to Coach about a lot of things. I mean, we're going to reminisce about his days at the high school football, arena football, but this new XFL thing going on, I just wanted to know, what his thoughts were. He's got a great football mind. I know that he was watching it and kind of taking notes on it, so I want to get his thoughts on that, so we're going to talk about that. And that was our poll of the week. We asked on Twitter and Facebook our question, will the XFL last more than one season? We had an upstart last year with the AAF. It didn't even make it through the season, and so I wanted to get people's thoughts on that. We had a tremendous response to that poll, and overwhelmingly, 87% said yes, it will last more than one season. So, this season right now going along, it's entertaining football, I'll say that. I like some of the new rule changes they've got. I especially like the extra point rule. Puts a lot of strategy into what's going on. The kickoff rule, I think I think the NFL may adopt that at some point, or a similar situation. I think it will definitely cut down on some of the injuries that occur on that just full-blown run down the field and smash somebody in the mouth. Now, there's a lot of folks that like that part of football, but that's where a lot of injuries can occur. So I like that aspect of it. I like how we're they're more transparent about the replays and things like that, talking to coaches and players, and I just think it's great that what's going on there. I think it's very fan-friendly, and I think the NFL can take notice. And I think the NFL might want to take notice of possibly using that as some sort of a developmental league of some sort. I don't know. But that was the main reason I called Coach. We talked about that some. We talked a lot about some other things, so I think you're going to really enjoy our time today with Coach Garry McPeek, longtime football coach at the high school level and at the arena football level. He's coached all over the place. And arena was very instrumental in the Lexington Horsemen, or the Kentucky Horsemen, down in Lexington in that arena football situation. Coached some great guys down there. Jared Lorenzen, I know he coached Jared down there, some great guys. So I think you'll enjoy today's show, even if you don't know Coach McPeek. I think you'll come to really enjoy his insight on some of the things that we're going to be talking about today. Mainly football, a little bit of life, a little nostalgia. It ought to be fun. Thanks for joining us here today on The Box with Tim, powered by Mingy Beef Jerky.
It's produced locally, and it's top quality. Many of you are putting those two items at the top of your list of priorities when you're making decisions about purchases these days. Should be the same with beef jerky. That's why we partner with Mingy Beef Jerky. It's better because it's hand-cut from a quality piece of solid beef. Never chopped or formed like you get from other companies. Go to MingyBeefJerky.com to see the story of this locally owned and operated company from my hometown in Paris, Kentucky. It's the best. Trust me on that one.
Folks, it won't be long. Spring cleaning will be just around the corner, and you're going to have a lot of garbage pile up probably when you do that, and you probably don't really know what to do with it. Well, I've got a solution for you. You call 606-474-5850 and talk to Travis or Frankie or even Robin if she answers. You tell them that Tim Carper said to give you a call, and they will send out a dumpster. Man, they'll bring it right to your front door. You only have to step outside to throw that garbage away if you don't want to. And they'll come right back and get it when that dumpster's full, and they'll do it real reasonable for you as well. So if you're spring cleaning, got a bunch of garbage around the house, or maybe you just got a bunch of garbage around your house without spring cleaning. Some of us have that. Hey, give Frank, Travis, Robin a call, 606-474-5850. Grayson Sanitation, a proud sponsor of The Box. Welcome back into The Box, powered by Mingy Beef Jerky. And, boy, stepping into the coach's box today, and I'm excited about this one. I've known this guy for, golly, more than 25 years. We've been up and down the road in the football thing. And by the way, Coach, Mingy Beef Jerky, owned by a guy that you probably know pretty well, right?
Oh, yeah, Curtis Mackley, as I say all the time, and nobody does it better, and nobody played fullback any better at East Carter High School than Curtis Mackley. Old number 44 could tote the rock, and what a great family. And I hated to hear the passing of his father, Dean, but
right.
What a great family, and Curtis has done very well for himself. Very proud of him.
Absolutely. And if you didn't guess, folks, Coach Garry McPeek is with me today, and Coach and I go back to, 93? Is that right, Coach? Your first year at East, or 92?
I'd say we go back to 89 in the Dameron days. Yeah.
You know what? You're exactly right, because you were that was Eddie Gannum's bunch, right?
Yeah, I was assistant in 89, and then left a couple of years, and then came back as the head coach in January of 92. So,
wow. Yep,
a lot of fond memories of up on the hill and of Grayson in Carter County.
We're getting old, Coach.
I know. I don't know what happened. I used to be the young guy, and all of a sudden now I'm the old guy on staff. So, but it's funny how that happens.
We had a lot of fun up on the rock, and as they called it back then, it's kind of nice now. We got Bermuda grass up there, and I don't think it's quite as rocky as it used to be.
No, it's not. You got a practice field, and Tim Champlin's done an exceptional job of getting that field done. I know Steve Womack jumped in and helped out there, and like I said, it's of all the places I've been the past 30 plus years, Grayson, it's a fond place in my heart, and stay in contact with a lot of those guys.
Yeah, Coach, and I got Coach in trouble one night. I don't know if we want to tell this story or not, but I actually cost you 15 yards one night. Do you remember that?
I don't remember. The only thing I remember is Elvis has left the building. That was always a good thing to hear, because that meant the Raiders had won, and we'd put another win away. So we had a lot of good time. A lot of good times.
There was one night, I remember, I think it was, Coach, I honestly think it was your first game as a head coach. And there was like 7 or 8 plays in a row where there was a flag thrown. And you would probably remember the official I won't say his name, but he was not very tall, and he had a really thick mustache.
I remember that guy.
He threw like 7 or 8 flags in the first 7 or 8 plays. And on the 9th play, I said something. I don't even know who had the ball, but somebody, I think they said, say it was Mackley. I don't even know if Mackley was playing it, but Mackley gained 4. And I paused about 5 seconds, and I said, "Hey, no flag on the play." And all of a sudden, a flag goes up in the air. And I got penalized 15 yards for unsportsmanlike conduct.
Hey, you know what? If it wasn't you, it'd have probably been me. So that's probably good. It's probably a good thing.
I know you sent word up to the guys on the box. Tell Fig, don't worry about it. That was funny, and it was worth it. I wasn't even 15.
Exactly right.
I think it was half the distance or something like. Anyway,
that's all right. Well, after 7 or 8 penalties, it probably was. All right. We
not all of
and move on.
Not all of them were on East, but it was incredible. But I do remember that, and that was I think I honestly do believe that was our first game, and I felt so bad after the game, and you just put your big old arms around me and said, "Don't worry about it, buddy. We got many of
That's
these to go
exactly
through,
right.
so it wasn't that
That's
big a deal.
exactly right. No, it never is.
Let's talk a little bit about high school football from those days, back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s to today. What has changed in high school football over the past 30 years?
Well, I think, a lot of the things have changed, had to change. And, this greatest game in the world, the greatest team sport ever invented, where you got, 22 guys fighting, biting, and scratching over a 13-ounce pigskin. And, I think everybody's jumped on board and understands, that had to look at some things in the safety side of the game. And I think, a lot of things have been put into place, with the heat acclimation and the concussions and those kind of things. I think those things are all positive. Like I said, I can't. I was looking back the other day and thinking of all the relationships and all the things I'd learned in my days of football, and it's an experience that like no other. I think there's a lot of great things that have happened. I think there's a lot of great young coaches that have gotten involved. You got two great young coaches there in Carter County that are doing an exceptional job and just changing kids' lives. I think the biggest thing probably is looking at the opportunities to helping kids to move on and get past high school and get a college education and use football as that platform. And it's with the advances of social media, it can either be positive or negative. And,
right.
Some of those guys I think have used it as a positive thing to get out and get kids recruited and open doors for them down the road. But, it's a great game and made hard by coaches, that's for sure. But kids love playing it, and, that's not going to change. But I think the safety aspect of it has been really good. I mean, things we did back in the 80s, going to camp and, practicing 3 times a day and some of the craziness. I wasn't in the no water days, but some of those things have obviously advanced, beyond. And I think those have been great things for the game. But, just promotion of it and the love of the sport. And you got to continue to do that because, it's under attack. Right. It's under attack by so many different organizations. There's so many misinformations out there about CTE and some of those things that, I just tell our parents and tell our kids, just, always get out there and get as much information so you can make an informed decision on what's right. And the advancement of equipment.
Oh my goodness.
From the 80s when I, was playing and then started coaching till now, it's unbelievable how far it's advanced.
No doubt. Have the kids changed much, Coach?
You know what? I don't think they have. They still want discipline. They still want structure. They still want feedback. I think we're all intrinsically want to do a good job. And I tell our guys all the time, unfortunately, I'm just a video camera can talk. So I'm going to constantly give you feedback and let you know where you stand. And I don't think kids have, I think the biggest thing probably, and I mentioned social media, is instant gratification. They want it right now. And, we're not in that business. You're going to ask them to go out and perform a skill that they're probably going to fail out the first couple times, and you got to come back and reteach it and teach it again. And so it's, it's really the process and enjoying the process. So many people want to worry about the fruit at the end of it, but you got to just keep growing the root and keep improving each day. And I think we can all use that in our daily lives, but I don't think kids have. Now, parents, some a little bit along the way. And
that was my next question, because, in my evolution from coaching from I was coaching there in the late 80s too, up until early 2000s. The biggest change in my aspect was parents, and not all parents, but just, I think, and not all of it was bad, but the few bad parents do give the good parents a bad name sometimes.
Well, I think the biggest thing is, involvement, and you get in booster clubs, you get in things, you got 4 or 5 doing the work of 70 where, many hands would make light work. And like I said, the instant gratification, they want their kid to be great immediately. And, it takes time, player development is huge. And obviously, ability and those kind of things are great, but you got to develop kids, and especially high school kids. They come in as a Coach McGlone used to always, preach to us that you're going to get 2 great years out of a kid. And when do you want it? You want it when he's 14 or 15, wobbly kneed, or do you want it when he's 17, 8-year-old and almost a man?
Right.
So, and you got to grow those kids and be patient with them and understand at the end of the day, they're just kids. And I think as parents, you got to step back and do that. And I tried with my own. It's tough. It's the toughest thing I've ever done is coach my own kids. So,
yeah.
But it's tough. It is. And
I know. I coach mine.
It's a tough thing. Yep. It's a tough deal.
You just mentioned Coach McGlone. Ivan McGlone, probably the most knowledgeable football guy I was ever around. No offense to you or any of the other coaches I've been around, but Coach Ivan McGlone knew the game about as well as anybody, didn't he?
Oh, he's forgotten more than I've learned. So you're not offended me, that's for sure. He's just a consummate professional, and he believes in the system and what he does. There's always not just this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it. And that's one thing I learned from him. And I still used the other day, his walkthroughs that he does, and things that the NFL are doing now. You watch it on film, then you walk it, and then you go do it. And we didn't realize it, back in the 80s, but that's what we would do. He'd bring us back in on Thursday nights, and we would walk through one step at a time, break it down to one step, and I call it bird dog drill now, but we take one step at a time. And 80% of all, I'll tell you in NFL, 80% of all missed assignments are due to the wrong first step. And it goes back to what Coach McGlone was teaching us in the early 80s. So he was way above before his time. Great, just an unbelievable guy to play for. And then, his knowledge of the wing tee and this football in general was just unbelievable.
I understand completely. Something that I've noticed, and I don't know that it's just indicative of our area, but I think it's nationwide. And I think you hit the nail on the head. A lot of it was social media, but you've got more kids, at least I'm hearing of more kids, going on to that next step. Is that your experience, especially here in the Northeast and central part of Kentucky?
I think so, and there's so many more opportunities, with schools starting football and then, a lot of coaches from this area doing, exceptional things at the collegiate level, which opens up doors for local kids.
Right.
We got local guys who play here like Dane Dameron at Virginia Wise. We've got Jared Parker, Dante Wright, Lawrence County. I could go on and on and on. They're West Virginia now. I mean, it's just, there's doors that are open for kids, but a lot of schools have started football, like KCU, and those guys didn't have football, back then. And, that's 150 opportunities for 150 more kids to play the great game. And
right.
So there's a spot for everybody. It's just you gotta figure out what's best for you. And if you want to go and you have that burning desire to go play, then there's opportunities out there.
I'm going to stick with high school for just one more minute, one more question, and then we'll talk about some other things. But there is a huge push right now in a lot of high schools, not every high school, not every coach, and not within every sport, but there is a huge push right now for kids to, focus on one sport. Is that a good thing for a freshman in high school to do?
I think it's a bad thing. Bottom line is, specialization. And shame on some of these guys that are saying, if you do this and you'll do this 12 months a year, then this will happen. Well, at the end of the day, when that doesn't happen and that full ride or whatever else doesn't happen, then you can't answer those questions. Now you've hurt a kid. And, here's the deal. You get one swing through that whole thing, play them all, have a good time. If you want to do it. And, as I was AD for several years, if the kid wants to do it, us as adults, we're going to work it out.
Right.
And the people who don't, then shame on them. And it's, kids are kids. You get one swing through that thing, like I said, and play them, have a great time. And then not just that, give them time to be a kid.
Absolutely.
The 2 weeks in the dead period is great. But, as I know you like to do, whatever if they want to go fishing, go fishing.
Yeah.
And there's several Friday mornings we're done practice. Go do something else. Don't even turn the film on. Don't come around here. Go do something else. And I think we all need to hit reset on the Xbox sometimes and step back and relax and go, get away from it and go enjoy. It's hard. I mean, that's all I've ever done. So, but it's, you got to step away from it and take a break. And so, the specialization is, that stuff is, I think, out of control. And sometimes it's people outside of schools,
right.
Encouraging kids to do this or the AAUs or whatever it is, or even the 7-on-7 stuff. And then you get people who don't have their best interest in mind, and that's a bad deal.
I agree totally. And, who knows what a 13 or 14-year-old freshman in high school is going to be like when he's 17 or 18. He may be 5'6", 5'7", and weigh 125 pounds, and maybe baseball is his sport or something as a freshman, but he goes to be 6'6" and 280. Hey, he might be a tight end, or he might be a forward on the basketball team. So if you specialize, right, you never know. Not that he can't be a great baseball player at that size, but I think sometimes we pigeonhole kids just because of a certain look or a certain attitude, and I think we let them explore whatever they want to play. I know my son started out playing football and baseball, ended up playing golf and soccer, and he was very good at those two things. So, you just never know.
Well, that's why we got 31 flavors of ice cream. Everybody likes different things, and you end up eventually finding your niche. But to think that somebody knows what they want to do or be or whatever, coming into high school, and you don't just see it in athletics, you see it now in academics.
Oh, I know.
They want kids to get in this venue, this program, this track, and decide what they want to be at 14. And as you know, there's a lot of stuff going on in that body at that time. So
that's exactly right.
All that stuff works itself out. And like I tell our kids, it's not going to hurt you to lift weights. It's not going to hurt you to study hard in the classroom. At the end of the day, your opportunities are going to be made from, I've never had a college guy come in and first or second question wasn't, well, what's his GPA and what's his ACT?
Right.
The days of the dumb, slow-footed athlete, I don't care what you're playing, are over. So you got to be able to think. You got to be able to think on your feet. And at the end of the day, no matter what sport you play, you can't peel that thing and eat it. You're going to sit in front of somebody and convince them to hire you on what you know.
That's right.
So that's the most important thing. I was going to say, specialize in anything, specialize in the classroom.
Yeah, and I think all college institutions and organizations, NCAA, NAI, whatever you're playing, they're cracking down on the academic side of things too. And there's, like you say, there's no sliding through. Coaches aren't going and supposedly getting your grades or going to classes that don't exist and so forth. Might happen at a few basketball schools down south, but not around here, right?
Well, that's right. Here's the thing: is you got to go be a student athlete first,
right,
and take care of that deal. And because the bottom line, at the end of the day, whether you're in high school to get a diploma or to get an deal to get a degree, that's the main thing. And then what are you going to do as a citizen? You're just cheating that kid if you're not pushing him in all aspects. And I've never seen. It's hard to trust kids who struggle in the classroom. Ones that struggle in the classroom struggle on the field.
Right.
And it's just that's how it is. And, that's a big deal. You got to be able to, we talk about that. And last 3 years I've been at Douglas, we talk about living the core and being able to trust you in the classroom and trust you, in the streets, but we got to be able to do that and then trust you on the field. We got to be able to trust you in those areas. So exactly. It's all a deal. You can't flip it on, flip it off.
Exactly. And speaking of Frederick Douglass High School, congratulations to Nate. I hear he's the new head football coach there, right?
Yes, very happy for him, and he's worked hard, and he'll do a great job there. He loves kids love him, and everything else is easy from there.
Great kid. I know. Well, he's not a kid anymore, but
I know
he's a great man. He really is, and
he is good mentor for kids, and he'll do a great job there.
He sure will. We're going to take a break right now. Come back and talk a little bit about the XFL and get Coach McPeek's thoughts on that and a few other things as we return from the box, powered by Mingy Beef Jerky.
The Wildcats put nothing but the best fuel in their body. You should too. So when you're shopping for beef jerky, make it Mingy Beef Jerky. It's cut from a solid piece of beef, never chopped or formed. This is a great locally owned and operated company. They've been friends of mine for years, so you can trust they do it right at Mingy Beef Jerky. Get the regular flavor, the sweet and hot, maybe the barbecue, or my favorite, bourbon-flavored Mingy Beef Jerky. If you don't see it where you shop, ask for it. Order it at MingyBeefJerky.com and check them out on Facebook. Mingy Beef Jerky.
Welcome back into the box, powered by Mingy Beef Jerky, joined today by my good buddy Coach Garry McPeek. And Coach, I remember back in the day you dabbled in arena football quite a bit. Let's see if I know you The first time I think I did a little bit of PA work for was it the River City Locos? Was that the name of that bunch?
River City Locomotives in 2001. That's exactly right.
And then I think in about 05 or 06, I did some stuff for the Huntington Heroes. I think you were a part of that, right?
Yeah, I actually in between then coached for the Lexington Horsemen.
Right.
And then in 06 and 07, when Huntington Heroes started the team back in Huntington, I took the head coaching job and we had a great run there, and then went back to Lexington and coached in AF2. So I ended up 10 years in the Arena Football League, and you talk about great experiences and war stories. We had a wonderful time.
I had, I didn't get to spend a lot of time with you there as much as I did at the high school level, but I know there were, I think 2 games for the Locos and 1 or 2 for the Heroes. Your PA guy was down, and that was just after I got out of PA, but into play-by-play. But I had a couple nights off, and I had a blast. I mean, it's a totally different game than anything else you'll see in football.
It is, and as I used to explain it when we first started in Huntington, everybody's like, "Well, what's it like?" I said, "Well, it's kind of like a rock concert and a wrestling match, and somewhere in there, a football game breaks out." And I said, we tried to be fast paced, and we didn't huddle the whole time I coached there. The 2 years at Huntington, we never huddled. Tried to snap the ball. They didn't come to pay to watch us huddle, and I would tell our kids, number one thing is they come here to watch us perform. So we're going to perform and entertain, and then second, we're going to win. So, but we had great runs, and it was a lot of fun. Got to travel, all parts of this country that I'd probably never even had a chance to, when you going to line up and go to Tupelo or Biloxi, Mississippi, or Alexandria, Louisiana, or Des Moines, Iowa. Just the opportunity to get out and travel and then provide kids an opportunity to play. And then, we were blessed to move guys on that had some chances, and then we still got guys playing in CFL and had some guys get some chances in the NFL. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. And you talk about fast paced, you're exactly right. Because I also remember doing one radio game, and it drove me nuts trying to figure out what was going on.
It was a great time. And then the best one, the short story, is we're coming back from here, and we'd lost 2 in a row. The owners had quit talking to us, and Dane said, Dane Dammer was on the bus with him, and I said, "What are we going to do?" Or he said, "What are we going to do?" I said, "I don't know, but we were figuring we're getting ready to get fired." And I said, "We got to find a quarterback." I'd love the kid was playing, but wasn't playing very well. So I got on the phone, called Delisha, and I said, "Delisha, I'm gonna tell Dane he's playing." She goes, "I don't think we can." I said, "Well, I'm gonna pay him this." She goes, "Oh, tell him he's playing." So
I remember when he played.
I hang up the phone. I don't know. He was late 30s, maybe 40. I don't know what he was. But I said, "Well, we're going to fix this. You're going to play quarterback." Delisha won't let me. "Oh, yeah, I've already talked to her. We got this done." And we ended up winning 8 in a row and lost in the semifinals and had a chance to win it there. But, Dane's a winner and knew what was going on. And we had a great run. He'd play on Saturdays and couldn't practice all week and play again on Saturdays. So we had a wonderful time.
I remember those days. I certainly do. Yeah, he was a little bit slower than he was at Georgetown. When he played there.
A little bit, but he still could spin it. So
he can still throw it. That's exactly right.
He can still spin it.
Hey, Coach, let's talk about some of these offshoot pro football leagues we've had down through the years. I know we had the WFL back in the 70s. You had the USFL, XFL back in early 2000s. Then we had the AAF, and now we got the XFL reboot. What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on this XFL reboot? Is it going to last?
Well, shamefully, I have to admit I haven't missed a game. So they got at least one good ratings out of my house. But I think the football's really good. I think that's the one thing they focused on this time is the football side. And the Walker kid that plays for Houston, AJ Walker, I think he's got a chance to get on the roster next year. Right. Just there's not many opportunities to out there to develop quarterbacks and those kind of things. And so, it's an opportunity for those guys. The coaching, obviously, they got NFL guys. They got guys that have been Division I head football coaches that are credible folks that are involved. Fans yesterday, there was 30,000 in St. Louis.
Right.
There's a lot of communities and towns and And this time of the year, I mean, I'm in a state that I know loves basketball, and so do I. But bottom line, at the end of the day, there's a lot of football out there. They want to see football in a lot of these professional towns. That it gives people a great opportunity to get out and enjoy it. And weather is cooperated in most of these towns, and I think it's a great level of football, and it's been a lot of fun to watch.
I agree. I've not watched every game, but each weekend I have watched most of one game, and usually parts of two or three. And would the NFL not be smart to kind of embrace this and kind of endorse this as a developmental type league? Would that not be smart for them?
And I think you've kind of seen some of that. The last time USFL, they had the above the field camera and some of those things that the media where it's more fan friendly. And, you've seen the NFL and even college football adopt some of those things.
Right.
The transparency of the replay booth.
Oh, that's great.
And some of that communication piece has been awesome, and for people to, inside my wife and I were watching the game here. She's like, I didn't know the defense made calls. I said, yep, defense makes calls too.
Absolutely,
so,
yeah.
But, just that piece of, just not just the football junkie like me, but just general population watching the game and getting some of those insides of it. I think they would. And I think like the kickoff rule, love it.
Yes.
I think the safety of that is a great concept.
I like the extra point.
I love the extra point.
Yeah,
I think you're going to see some more of that. You saw that yesterday with the teams going for two, and that was Billy Goldsmith saying, "Let's go for two every time. We get 50%, bud, we're ahead." And he's right. He's right. If we get 50% of them, we're still ahead. So, and it puts pressure on teams, and I love it. I think it's great. I've loved to see Austin McGinnis. He had missed a field goal.
Right.
He helped with our kickers at Douglas and trained at our place, and so it's good to see him doing well. And so anyhow, I think it's just great for football. I think the brand of football is really good, and I think you're right. I think you'll see the NFL take a hard look at some of these things, like the kickoff rule and some of these other deals, and say, hey, we need to take a look at this.
And look at the players. I mean, they're developing players down there that I'm sure there's going to be a handful. I don't know how many, but I'm sure there'll be a handful that will at least get a lot stronger look come this fall after being in the XFL, no question.
Oh, I like I said, I think there's opportunities there. You get there on film, and that when I was coaching arena, that was the biggest thing. And agents would send us guys; they just want to keep playing because when there's that break of play, and there's minimal slots. You look 32 teams, 53 roster spots, and that's not many.
Right.
And there's not many opportunities out there where you can go and you can go to Europe and some of those deals. But, this is the real deal. And I think you'll see some guys get some opportunities from this. The running back, I know at Dallas is from Auburn. He's had a great year already. And the receiver from Houston. I mean, you just go on and on and on. So, and then offensive lineman, you it's not like you can go out and practice in the backyard. You can go out and catch a ball and throw balls, but running into 300-pound men, you can't do it anywhere. So, I think you'll see that, and I think you'll see guys get opportunities.
And I think they're getting quality, as you said, NFL or high Division I coaching as well as to further their career.
You get in that, and then all those guys have connections, and as sometimes it's not about what you know, it's who you know.
Exactly.
Just an open door for a kid, and you never know how far that ball's going to bounce. So I think these guys will have some opportunities to move those guys and development. You talk about player development. I like what they're doing. 10-game season. They're done and they move on. And then, like you said, I think that opens some doors for OTAs and some deals come this spring for some of these guys.
No question about it. Well, Coach, I'm out of time. Actually, I'm over time, but I could talk for hours and love it. But we got to get out of here. I certainly appreciate your time today, my friend. We don't get to see each other very often, but when we do, I really enjoy our time together.
You too, Fig. It's great talking to you. I'm glad that you're doing better and anything we can do for you. And I always appreciate you promoting high school sports and promoting area athletics, and wish you the best.
Thank you, my friend. You have a great day, and God bless you.
You too, brother.
It's produced locally and it's top quality. Many of you are putting those two items at the top of your list of priorities when you're making decisions about purchases these days. Should be the same with beef jerky. That's why we partner with Mingy Beef Jerky. It's better because it's hand cut from a quality piece of solid beef. Never chopped or formed like you get from other companies. Go to MingyBeefJerky.com to see the story of this locally owned and operated company from my hometown in Paris, Kentucky. It's the best. Trust me on that one.
Well, that's our show for today, and I want to thank Coach Garry McPeek for joining us today. Really enjoyed sitting down and talking with Coach. We've known each other for over 30 years and just had a great time. We don't get to catch up very often. He's been all over the place with his coaching career. Our paths have crossed a few times over the years, but we've always stayed strong friends throughout everything. I know Coach was very concerned when I was battling cancer, and he let me know about that. He sent up prayers my way, and we certainly appreciated that. And for all of you folks who have done so, I can't tell you how much it means to me that people were thinking about me and were in my corner. And God had a plan, and that plan right now is for me to be right back here doing the stuff I love to do, working here in the Dean Fig Studio on 2nd Street, high above Grayson, Kentucky, looking down on the great town of Grayson. And we're going to keep doing that, keep doing the podcast, doing my commercials, my audiobooks, and all that good stuff. We're back in the saddle and having a great time. And thank you all for joining us here on The Box. For Coach Garry McPeek and Jenna Birmingham, I'm Tim Carver saying God bless. Have a great week, everyone, from all of us here at The Box, powered by Mingy Beef Jerky.
You've been listening to The Box, powered by Mingy Beef Jerky. We hope you enjoyed the show and invite you to come back next week. For The Box, I'm Jenna Birmingham.